Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about what is self-awareness and why is it important?
So, hey, for you guys, for those of you that are just coming on and don't know us, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From Zen Rose Garden.
.com, helping people create
badass lives.
So as you guys come on, let us know where you're from in the comments, because we've got a lot of people all across the world, and you're also helping me with my geography.
That's right, because he's terrible at geography.
Yep.
So we're doing a live today because we haven't for a while, and we've got a lot of stuff going on in the Zen Rose Garden world.
Yes.
But we wanted to do a live about self-awareness and why it's important. So I want to ask you a question, drop it in the comments. Is there something that you regret from years ago that you said or did that you did because you weren't self-aware? Something that you still regret? So think about what that is as we go along and drop it in the comments. We want to know.
Let us know in the comments if you've ever done something or said something that you regret.
Well, we've all done something that we regret, but something that you were not self-aware in the moment.
Right.
So that might be tricky to wrap your head around, but you'll kind of get what I'm saying as we go through this live. So why is self-awareness important? Okay, so in the metaphysical, spiritual world, new thought world, we talk about being self-aware and enlightened all the time, right? But do we really know what that means? So that's what this live is about, is what does self-awareness really, really mean?
And why is self-awareness important?
Right. So have you ever known people who seem to like always keep their cool, always really good in social situations?
They can handle even the most awkward situations with some kind of a grace and dignity.
And people that make other people feel at ease.
Right.
So these are generally little clues that these are self-aware people. Okay, so self-awareness, I want to change the terminology from self-awareness into emotional intelligence. Right. So raise your hand if you've ever heard the term emotional intelligence, right? So we hear about IQ all the time, but they often say that emotional intelligence is more important than intellectual intelligence, because if you're not self-aware and emotionally intelligent, doesn't matter what genius level you are, you're not going to get very far.
It doesn't matter how smart you are if you can't talk to people. I'm just going to put it there.
That's it.
And I wanted to say what's up to Aaron, what's up to Debbie. Thank you guys for joining us.
Good morning. So let me define emotional intelligence as termed by the experts, right? The experts, like they are experts.
Yes.
Okay. Emotional intelligence involves the ability to understand and manage emotions.
And it's linked to everything from decision-making to academic achievement.
Right. Like I said, you might be a genius level, but you might not be able to get your doctorate or your master's or your bachelor's or even make it through school if your emotional intelligence is lacking. So you might have the capacity and the ability, but not be able to stabilize yourself.
Right.
So
next, we're going to go into the 5 components of emotional intelligence and the exact emotional management skills that you need for self-awareness.
And these are kind of your 5 tips.
Right.
So it's a really good guideline for where you are in your emotional intelligence scale. And the 5 components of emotional intelligence are in a book by Daniel Goleman. And it's a really great, because it outlines these 5 components, and I would recommend that book.
And we actually have the link in the description if you want to check it out.
So emotional management skills and why you need them is kind of what he gets into, and he outlines them in 5 different categories.
And those 5 categories are self-awareness, self-regulation,
empathy, you know that one,
right? And then social skills and motivation.
Right.
So that's all 5.
So
we're gonna break those down here in a minute.
We like to redefine empathy in a lot of different ways, because in the spiritual world, there are a lot of people who have a lot of empathy and a lot of emotional stuff that gets in the way of feeling clear with their own emotions, because they're sensitive. So we're going to get into that a little bit in a bit. But first, tip number 1,
self-awareness.
So let's break it down.
Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions.
So that kind of goes into 3 parts. One is monitoring your own emotions. Like, what am I feeling? Kind of knowing what you're feeling.
Recognizing different emotional reactions, and then correctly identifying the response to that reaction.
Right. So it's kind of like, I'm feeling some kind of way. What is that way that I'm feeling?
Right.
And how should I respond with that feeling?
Right.
So that's recognizing and understanding your emotions. It seems simple enough, but most of us don't come by it naturally, right? It takes a lot of work. And that's why we do the kind of work that we do. To half the battle of healing is understanding and recognizing your own emotions and what they're doing to yourself and to your world around you.
Because in order to fix anything, you have to first know what that thing is. Okay, so in order to resolve your emotions, or to get a better handle on your emotions, you have to know which emotions it is that you're feeling. Right? R is R.
So the other half of that, of recognizing yourself, is being aware of the effect of your actions, your moods, and your emotions on other people.
Right.
So those are the not self-aware people. So I actually, if this describes you, you're a tool, because I want you to look it up on Google. The literal description of what is a tool is someone who is not self-aware.
Yeah, there you go. So a person who is self-aware can recognize the relationships between the things that they're feeling and how they're behaving and how that affects the world around them.
Right. So let's say they're in the middle of the opera and they have their cell phone and they see a text and it's somebody really pissing them off. They're not going to like blow up in the middle of the opera and make it all about them and express their emotions in that moment. So they're self-aware. Not that you shouldn't have your cell phone on in the opera.
You should
Turn
not.
it off, put it in your purse.
You should not. Another quality is recognizing your own strengths and limitations. Okay. As well as being open to new information and experiences.
And learning from the interactions of other people. So self-awareness, there's a lot of branches to it, right? This is only step number one.
Right.
Most people that have self-awareness have a good sense of humor. He's demonstrating his own self-awareness.
Yes. My sense of self-humorization.
Which brings us into the other quality, which is being confident in themselves and their abilities. So in that regard, I would say that David is self-aware.
Pretty self-aware, I'd say. Also being aware of other people and how other people are perceiving them. So it's not just about me being me, it's about how you guys see me or how she sees me, or how the outside world sees me. And that's kind of the mirroring, being aware of the mirror that you reflect out into the world and that gets reflected back to you.
So I want to qualify that a little bit, because we can't always be aware of how people perceive us, right? And that's not our responsibility to like be hyper aware of how other people perceive us, but being aware in a general sense is good. We also can't go to the extreme and be like, I wonder how they're perceiving me. I wonder how people are thinking about me, they're talking about me. That's not self-awareness. That's paranoia. Different thing altogether.
Right.
Makes sense, you guys?
All right. Let us know in the comments if that makes sense. Drop a thumbs up. Hit that like button if you want to.
Yes.
So you guys are liking what's going on here.
That is a general description of what self-awareness is. And like I said, it's not a super simple thing. Mindful. Yeah, mindful.
Yep. Thanks, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Argon Cowboy.
Yep. Next, we're going to get into tip number 2, which is self-regulation. Now that you know what your emotions are, it's about regulating and managing those emotions.
Right. So self-awareness is one thing, but then what are you going to do with that self-awareness? So regulating and managing your emotions and your emotional state. This does not mean putting your emotions on lockdown. Okay, so like my example in the opera, where you're not going to like blow up in the middle, like I have to express my emotions because that's what I do.
If you're talking to a good friend, you're out having fun talking to a good friend, and you got some stuff on your mind, you got some stuff on your chest, let it go. It's okay to talk about it there. You're not going to lock it down and go, what's bothering you? Nothing.
Right. No. So it doesn't mean putting your emotions on lockdown and hiding your true feelings. It does mean waiting for the right time and place and avenue to express your emotions. So self-awareness, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and regulating what you are doing with those emotions, because emotions they can be like weapons, right? Yeah. They're very powerful. And so being aware of those is important, but it is important not to lock them down. A lot of our work here on YouTube and Zen Rose Garden is teaching you how to express your emotions and teaching you to be safe with those negative emotions, but then also telling you, here's how to use them correctly and don't lock them down. Learning
how to feel and learning when and where to feel or to express those feelings. Okay. Because you don't want to blow up when you're watching an opera, and you don't want to hold it in when you've got somebody who's willing to listen to you and to help you through something.
So this is about expressing emotions appropriately, which leads us into people that are skilled in self-regulation. Can't talk today. They tend to be more flexible and adaptable.
and they adapt well to change.
Right. Because
they're okay.
Because it's like, I don't express myself right now. They're like, okay, let me just hang on to that. And flexibility takes me into something else, and I'll just do something else and come back to that.
Yeah. And they're also good at managing conflict and diffusing tense or difficult situations because they know how to address emotions when they come up, how to and how to handle it not only within themselves, but how to regulate and kind of see what's going on within other people and helping them get to that next level of, it's okay to chill out. There's nothing really big going on right now. It's okay.
So within self-regulation, which is tip number 2, or part number 2 of emotional intelligence, it's about being high in conscientiousness. So you're conscientious.
Being highly conscientious, not being high in your conscience.
No, it's about being conscientious in what you do with your words and your emotions, and thinking about how you influence others and take responsibility for your actions. So there's a lot of that. Hi, Melanie, who just came on.
Right. And you also...
Yes. David stopped.
I did, because somebody just moved my cue. So you're basically, you think about how you influence others and you take responsibility for your actions. That was what I was going to say.
I want to read this awesome comment by Argon Cowboy, aka Matthew. I just gave away your secret identity in public. Emotional fortitude. Emotions are tools and indicators. You use them to guide you and attract what you want, and sometimes what you don't want.
Yep.
Or what you think you don't want.
Very, very well put.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay. Next, we're going into the social skills. This is tip number 3, social skills.
And part number 3 of emotional intelligence.
Right. And the biggest component here is active listening.
Right.
Okay. So actively listening when you're in a conversation, and a lot of us don't really do this because we're preparing for the next thing to say. We're going to the next thought, and we don't really take time to be in the moment, to be present with someone. And this is also mindfulness, to be present with someone and listen to what they're saying. And it's perfectly okay to take a few moments and have your response because you're actually digesting the information.
Okay, that I'm some blatant promotion because it fits in. One of our teachers on ZRG Global gave a class on this yesterday called Embracing the Present Moment. So Jess Williams, those of you that are on ZRG Global, raise your hand. She gave an amazing class on our subscription platform on Embracing the Present Moment and how you can feel when someone is there in the present moment with you, being actively listening to you and not, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And I'm super guilty of that because I'm this Gemini on the cusp of Cancer that's like zing, zing. And those of you that know me know that I'm charting all sorts of things, but it's really important for me to be in that moment with you and hearing what you're saying. But I have to constantly bring myself to the moment. We all do, because we are in a busy, overwhelming world. So it's social skills as part of emotional intelligence are really important. And active listening is something I think we all can continue to improve on.
And level up.
Yes.
Okay. So this is about mindfulness and being present in a conversation and in a communication. You're going to have much better communications that way. Next, we get into the verbal communication skills, as well as the nonverbal communication skills.
Right.
So these are very, very important because verbal, yes, know your words, know what your words mean, know what they say, know when you're listening to somebody what they're saying. But there's also a whole slew of communication that happens on nonverbal and non-conscious levels. Body posturing, paying attention to whether somebody's, in a butthurt mood or whether somebody's actively engaged in listening and moving forward into your conversation, things like that. Those are kind of like that. Or they're creeping on you.
I'm actively listening to you.
Yeah. So if all of this is making sense, let us know. Yes. Drop a like in the in that button. Hit that like button. Drop a like in that button. Yeah.
I'm actively listening to him, completely screwing up his verbal skills. So we're working on both of us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So really this all ties into your ability to have good leadership skills, which includes persuasiveness and helping people make the right decisions and making the right decisions yourself. So social skills are super important. Right.
And this is also allowing you to be a bigger influencer in your life, because the more leadership skills you have, the more that you influence those around you by being more present and by being able to understand their emotions, your emotions, and how the whole world works together.
So I want to read Matthew's comment. This is where premature articulation comes in handy. I love this. I converse in the moment well, because I know that whatever to be said is going to just pop out of my mouth without me having to pre-think it. I think sometimes when we pre-think what we're going to say, we hold back our ability to be inspired in the moment, to channel some stuff that we don't even know we're going to say, to like tap into our deep subconscious, which is really the brilliant part of us. Like this part that's speaking right now is like, it's just your operating system. So if you can let go of, the script that you think you're going to say and say what you're supposed to say, magic can happen.
I want to talk a little bit about that part right there, because the genius is in your subconscious. The part that knows better than you know consciously is already there, accessible to you, ready and waiting to have those genius moments delivered. The delivery system is your verbal communication. The delivery system is your conscious mind when you let go of control. Okay, if you can let go of that control, then that genius starts spilling out, and you're saying brilliant things, and sometimes not so brilliant things too. But you're giving access to those parts of your mind to work together as a partnership instead of trying to battle each other. So
sometimes premature articulation is good. Sometimes it doesn't get you a second date. So anyway, I wasn't totally actively listening to you right then. I was formulating that joke.
Yes.
So part number 4.
Tip number 4, empathy.
This is my favorite, empathy, because is this not a topic that just gets completely talked about over and over in the new age, new thought, metaphysical world? Yes, because it has a lot of scope to it. It has a lot of subtlety to it. So we got to keep addressing it, I think.
And it's a great skill to have, empathy. So what is it that empathy means?
Well, empathy means the ability to speak. Empathy does not mean speaking. Ability means empathy. Stop it. Empathy means the ability to understand how others are feeling. Right? This is critical to emotional intelligence. So empathy is the ability to understand how others are feeling. It's not the ability to feel what others are feeling and get
inundated and overwhelmed.
That's not what empathy means. It's more, but it is more than just being able to recognize the emotional states of others. We're going to tell you how.
So when somebody says, I feel you, and they have good empathy skills, they know how to literally feel you. Okay, so they're picking up on your emotions, your feelings, and being able to understand where you're at emotionally.
So good empathy skills, and we're talking about empathy in the range of the 5 components of emotional intelligence. Remember, if you've just joined us, are the responses that you have to people based on that empathic information that you have. So the wrong response is, I'm feeling sad and hopeless because this person is feeling sad and hopeless. I don't want to feel sad and hopeless, so I'm going to leave. That's not emotional intelligence. I don't want to feel their negative stuff. That's not emotional intelligence. So
that's emotional overwhelm.
When the person is feeling sad and hopeless, you feel it, right? You do feel it to some degree for them. You're feeling empathy for that person. But that's going to, if your emotional intelligence is healthy, it's going to influence how you respond to that individual. David's going to be our sad, hopeless person right now. He's sad and hopeless. And you might treat them with extra care, like here's some water, drink some water. And, care and concern, because you want to help buoy them up a little bit, uplift them and say, why are you sad? So that's true. Empathy is feeling it and then responding appropriately.
Responding appropriately based on the information that you have, based on the sensation, based on the awareness of the empathy itself, and giving the proper response. A proper response doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go in there with them and be in the trenches with them and feel sad and lonely and depressed and whatever it is. It means understanding the feeling. Knowing the feeling, okay, you're feeling this, but what do you need to bring yourself out of that? What do you need to take it to the next level? Where is your way out of that emotion?
Well, and then when we use empathy in that way, aren't we moving into the realm of being a healer for people, right? I mean, whether it's you're helping your friend through a situation or you're doing it professionally. So I love that.
And Matthew says, doesn't the word genius translate to derived from spirit?
I don't know.
Yes, I think you're correct on that one.
I like that. You guys can Google away. I don't know that directly, but
next we've got tip number 5, which is motivation.
So motivation is the fifth component of emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And I love this. I first heard about emotional intelligence years ago when, IQ tests were kind of another round was going around, and I saw EQ, emotional quotient. And I'm like, that's interesting,
Right.
because you can't get anywhere without it. You really can't. So motivation is the fifth component of emotional intelligence. Right. So people that are motivated in the right way, in the emotional, according to the author, which his name just went away from my head right now.
Yeah, that guy.
Whoops. You're motivated by things beyond just external rewards like fame or money or recognition, right?
When you've got a deeper purpose in the world and you're driven by that deeper purpose, the fame, the money, the recognition, these are not the things that drive you. They're the bonuses that happen afterwards or because of it or whatever, but your passion is what drives you. That motivation is an internal, intrinsic motivation for doing something bigger and better in the world around you to make that world a better place.
So you experience that flow from totally being in tune with that thing that you're doing. And this goes back to that being in the present moment again.
Right.
So it's not about, I got to achieve this level of fame or notoriety, then I can do this, that, and the other thing. That's that's holding your life hostage.
Right.
Right. And I Jess talked about that yesterday in her live on ZRG Global.
Jess, apparently.
Also. No, I was just referring to the past. Okay. Not that you're the past.
Now I'm
you're
the past.
No, you're the present.
Wow, you better be present.
So let's run through these real quick. So they seek, people that have motivation, they seek things that lead to internal rewards, not so much external rewards. And they pursue peak experiences. So life is about experiences, not things.
Yes. They also have a deep passion to fulfill their own needs, inner needs, and goals, and they're action oriented. They're into moving to the next level, leveling up, always constantly leveling up. And then they set goals, and they have a high need for that achievement for their own personal gratification. They're not doing it to please anybody. They're not doing it to make the external world a better place. They're doing it to make the internal world a better place. They're pushing themselves past their limits to their next level of excellence.
And in summary, they're very committed and very good at taking the initiative, being proactive, as a friend of mine used to say, I love that word, when a task is put forth, being proactive in what can we do to make this better, what's going on,
or finding a solution and leveling up.
Always looking for ways to do things better.
For improving
Not
everything.
Just, it's just fine the way it is.
That's the way we've always done it.
Right.
Yeah, but how can we do it better?
Yes. So that all makes sense. So those are the 5 components of emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Not in that particular order. Just the tip every day. Yep.
Let us know if that makes sense in the comments. Also, if you've got any questions as you're going through this, let us know, and we will get back to them. If we don't get to them today, then we will get back to them later. Next, we've got.
I used to use, Matthew says, I used to use Abraham Hicks' emotional guidance chart when I started building up my emotional strength a few years ago. So handy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I also, a little bit to the left of this, or to my left is Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
right?
that's another really good one.
It's like, what are we motivated depending on where we are in life? Are we just motivated by base survival? Or are we moving up the ladder into expanding our consciousness? Where are you on that scale? So all of these different scales are good. You can get bits and pieces, and sometimes you need one in one moment of your life, like the Abraham Hicks scale, the Maslow scale, the 5 components of emotional intelligence.
Right.
All of these things are good.
Yep. All right. Now we're getting on to some questions for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a whole bunch of resources, whether that's on YouTube, whether we've got some other areas, we've got Facebook, we've got a whole bunch of different resources, and we want to make sure that you guys are going the right direction to consume these resources, to find these things, and to use them. So where are you in your self-growth journey?
So if you're just starting out, we've got a free resource.
Well, let's kind of list them out first.
Okay.
So first, we've got just starting out. So you're kind of new to this. You don't really know about self-growth or personal development. So you're just starting out. Next one would be, have you been practicing? Have you been putting some of these things into motion? Are you kind of learning more? Are you evolving more? Then we got the ready to level up. So either you're just starting, you've been practicing, or you're ready to take your life to the next level. So for those who are just starting,
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
So we have this really cool free resource called the ZRG Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this huge repository of a place where you can kind of go binge watch all of our stuff and all of our free material.
Right. And this is also where we're going to be keeping and uploading all of our free material too. So you have access in one location. Okay. So instead of spreading it all out over the world, we're going to put it in one location and we're going to continue updating that material.
So it's kind of the crazy stuff we've been working on behind the scenes because we've been missed a couple of weeks on YouTube and I'm like, I missed my YouTube family. So the second one.
Been practicing.
So this, if you've been practicing, come and join our badass group, which is badass personal development with a metaphysical twist. It's where we get a little bit deeper. We have a weekly crystal package giveaway and memberships to our ZRG Global group.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. So if you're ready to kind of scoot into more interactive,
if you want to level up and practice more,
that's a good place to be.
So in that group, we it's a Facebook group, a free Facebook group. We go live on Tuesday. We go live on Saturday. On Tuesday, we also give, Heather was talking about the crystal giveaway. So we give a bunch of crystals away. We give some memberships to ZRG Global, which brings us to ZRG Global. So if you're in that ready to level up, then we've got our ZRG Global Facebook group, which is a healing center that fits in your pocket. It is self-growth on your terms.
So the ZRG Global group, very glottal, is kind of our baby because we've been thinking about ways to develop this platform since we started 10 plus years ago. Right. So ZRG Global is a healing center that fits in your pocket. It's we have a staff of teachers and coaches that teach classes live every week. And
it's live, interactive.
And there's a whole community there that's very supportive and you can learn lots of stuff. So
So there's that. All of the links for these are in the description below. We've also got, in the description, we've got a 3-month, your first 3 months free. So we've got a special launch for your first 3 months free to ZRG Global if you want to get in on that. If you're ready to level up and jump right into the paid group, you get 3 months free. Just use the link down there.
So in ZRG Global is where we teach all of our series classes,
the deep stuff,
which are like our psychic series class and psychic development. It's where we're going to be starting our mediumship development class. Right. So all of our teaching stuff, where we do our classes are in there. Plus all of our hand-selected teachers that also teach classes. Why do I want to say teach teachers?
I don't know.
Because we teach teachers, but they teach classes all through the month, and it's a really fun group.
And the other thing about this, and Aaron just brought this up, who's also a teacher in the group, the classes are evergreen. So you don't have to miss a class. If you can't make it live, you can always watch the replay. And the teachers are really good at getting back to you on that.
And that ZRG Global is one place where we consistently hang out every day. So that's kind of our baby, our family. We would love to have you join us there. Yep. But we have something in 2 days that's coming up. We wanted to get on here and give you guys the heads up because in 2 days, we're starting Saturday morning, December 1st, 7 a.m. We're starting a 7-day meditation challenge live with us for 7 days. Yep.
And that's going to be, this month is going to be on manifestation. So we're doing 7 days of guided meditation from December 1st to December 7th at 7 a.m. And for those who complete within 24 hours of the live, every meditation for those 7 days, they get entered into a drawing to win a crystal package and some other goodies from us. So,
because we know how y'all like your crystals.
Yep. Everybody likes some crystals. All right. So
guys, this has been really fun. We wanted to get on here and do a live video instead of a recorded one today because we just kind of missed YouTube the last couple of weeks because we got lost in Thanksgiving land.
So if you like this video, hit that like button.
If this video has helped you in any way, share it with a friend.
If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. And for more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe
and click that bell to turn notifications on.
So you're the first to know
when we go live, when we drop a new video.
Either one of those.
Or go live.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Yes.